They didn't even flinch when I asked why my account balance was 22,000 lighter. Mom smirked, twirling her wine glass, and said, "Your sister needed Aspen. You'll earn it back." Dad chuckled, "Don't make such a big deal." I didn't argue. I just nodded, quiet, composed, because I already knew what they had forgotten, whose name the house was in. It wasn't always like this. When I was a kid, I thought loyalty was currency in my family. I gave, they took. I studied, I worked, I built. When I bought the house, I thought it was a gesture of gratitude, a roof over their heads, security for their retirement. They never paid rent. They never asked if I needed anything. They only asked for more. At first, I ignored the little things, the borrowed cash that never returned, the car mysteriously in my sister's name, the vacations I was expected to fund. But Aspen? That was different. That wasn't need. That was indulgence, stolen straight from me. The proof came when I checked the bank statement. Transfers, hotel charges, designer stores. My card had become their lifeline. And in that moment, staring at the numbers, something in me hardened. They thought I'd rage. They thought I'd threaten. But rage is loud. And I've learned, quiet revenge cuts deeper. I moved quickly. First, the lawyer. The house was under my name. I had bought it outright, cash, when work had been good. I never transferred it, never added them to the deed. They assumed it was theirs because they lived there. Second, the realtor. One call, and by the next morning, photos were scheduled, papers ready. No hesitation, no second guessing. By the time they boarded their flight to Aspen, sipping champagne on my dime, the house was already listed. 3 days. That's all it took. The market was hot. Offers came in immediately. I signed without blinking. When they landed back, sunburned and bragging about ski instructors and overpriced wine, their key no longer fit the lock. I remember the exact moment Mom's laughter cracked. She stood on the porch, bags at her feet, mascara smudged from the flight. Dad jiggled the key again, swearing under his breath. I stepped out of the car, leaned against the doorframe, and held up the deed. "You don't live here anymore." Silence, heavy, sharp. Mom's voice was a whisper. "You wouldn't." I smiled. "I already did." They screamed then, first at me, then at each other, accusations flying, panic setting in as reality carved its way into their bones. "Where will we go? What about our things? How could you?" Every question only proved what I had always known. They had never seen me as family, just as a resource. The best part? I didn't even sell it to strangers. I sold it to a developer. The house would be gone within weeks, demolished, erased. It wasn't just eviction, it was extinction of the little empire they thought they controlled. Dad tried one last time, his voice trembling with anger dressed as authority. "We're your parents, you owe us." I looked him dead in the eye. Calm, cold. "You drained 22,000 without asking. That was the moment you stopped being parents. That was the moment you became thieves." He shut up after that. I didn't celebrate. I didn't need to. Justice doesn't always roar. It settles in your chest, steady and warm. When the movers hauled their belongings out onto the curb, I didn't watch. I didn't care. I had already detached. They called me heartless, but the truth is simple. Heartless would have been to keep letting them use me until nothing was left. I chose myself, finally. Now, when I check my bank balance, it's whole. And when I drive past that street where their house once stood, I feel nothing but relief. Because sometimes the cleanest revenge isn't fire or fury, it's subtraction. Removing the parasite and watching how quickly it withers without you. And that's the part they'll never understand. They thought they'd always win because I loved them. But love without respect isn't love, it's leverage. And I don't get leveraged anymore. Final reflection? They thought Aspen was expensive, but the true price was the roof over their heads, and I was done paying.